How we doing this morning? Good, good. We're going to pick right back up with our story. Does everybody have a copy? Anybody need another copy? You got it? Yep. Several copies at home, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Just as a little review here, remember this is a fictional story based on the parable of the sower, which is a depiction of the condition of our hearts at any given moment based on how we receive information, truth. And as we've looked in Scripture and talked about the heart, what the heart is, and how the heart changes, and how the heart can be changed, and how we live from our heart, all those things, this story is an exercise in helping us understand the role that we play in the condition of our hearts, and little unsaid things, right, that go on that we might be able to relate to, and hopefully that you could see yourself in the story. It's almost like a modern-day parable, but not quite. Not quite. And we're talking about forgiveness. And this is a continuation, right, of this man Jacob's story. And he was holding a lot of guilt, and he's worked through a lot of things, and now, as a result of the growth that has taken place in his life, he realizes he's holding on to some things, and that he needs to be able to forgive some people, but he's struggling with that. And last week we showed what it looks like to have a heart that is hardened. This is where he realizes, hold on, wait a minute, I'm holding on to some things, some grudges, some pain, some trauma, but he's not yet ready to address that, right? And he's figured out ways to justify in his mind holding on to that, right? And so today we're going to look at a continuation of that story. Now, though, it's based off of the soil, the rocky soil in the parable of the sower. And that was going to be found in Matthew chapter 13, verses 3 through 9 and 18 through 23, just as a reminder of what the rocky ground represents. Anybody? What does it mean? Parable of the sower. Seed thrown on rocky ground. What happened? Little soil. Did anything grow? Yeah. Something grew really quickly, right? But it died. Why? Yeah, there's not enough soil there to really grab a hold of anything and establish itself, right? No base, no real foundation, and it didn't take long for it to go, right? Remember Jesus, when he talks about this and explaining this, right? He says, this is a picture of, when we hear it, we hear the truth, we hear the word, it sounds good, whatever it is, sounds good, right? Like something that we want. But we don't receive it at a deep level, right? It's not able to take hold of the long-running patterns of behavior that really direct our lives, okay? It doesn't take hold deep enough to grab a hold of our character, if you will. It sounds good, and as long as things are going good, it's good. But as soon as something happens, there's trial, there's tension, there's something happens, what's the result? What's the reaction? Fall back into old habits and old ways of doing things, right? In other words, there's not enough resilience, enough endurance to really deal with the thing and sit in the tension, which is part of what we're going to talk about this morning. And here's, I want to preface this with saying this, and that's okay. Sometimes we can't sit in the tension. We don't have what it takes to sit in the tension, right? But life has a funny way of training us, and teaching us, right? The Lord shows us and guides us. And that's part of what we're going to see here, okay? So let's continue on with the story. After part 2, initial enthusiasm, okay? So remember, he came to this place where he realized, man, there's some people here that I really need to work on forgiving, right? I need to work on that relationship because it's holding me back. But as he thinks about it, he comes up with all the reasons as to excuses and the justifications to holding on to his feelings or how he perceives people. But after some conversations, some studies, some contemplating grace deeper, what do those 3 things represent here? Time under tension, growth, things that happen as we're growing, as we're walking in our relationship with the Lord, right? The things we go through, things we partake in, we engage in, things that help to form and shape us, that challenge us, right? These are just 3 examples, but I mean, it could have been, you know what? We could have easily said, I don't know, what else could we fill in the blank here with? What other things? What are things that you participated in that have challenged you and helped you grow? Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Anything else? Okay. Oh, taking ownership, right? Recognizing, wait a minute, I play a role in this, right? What's my responsibility in this? Okay. Anything else? Pain. Okay. Oh, yeah, learning to be considerate. Okay. So there's lots of different things that we engage in that we may not even see how they are. How do I use this? Spiritual acts. I don't know how else you want to. They are things that have the power to connect with our hearts, to shape, not shame, to shape, to form us, right? To teach us, to challenge us. There are lots of different things, okay? And for me, I think it's helpful if we get into this space where we're able to go through life and we're able to look at all the various things that are going on and how they impact us and how we can grow from them, right? So sometimes a good question might be, what is the Lord trying to teach me with this? Or how is the Lord using this to shape me, right? The school, the classroom is what? Life, the world, okay? So it could be anything we go through, okay? Has the power to teach us, to shape us, to show us things, right? So, after some conversations and studies and contemplating grace deeper, that's what that represents. As a result, Jacob has a breakthrough. Anybody? Breakthrough? Moment of clarity? Light bulb goes off? Aha moment? We have any of those here? Right? Yeah. So, he feels motivated all of a sudden, right? To forgive. Specifically, Ethan, that's his high school friend. Journaling prayers of release and imagining their past differently. What's that all about? What's journaling prayers of release? That's just my way of saying it. But what do you imagine what that is? What is that? Anybody in here journal? All right. What's the benefit of journaling, Ken? Come on. That's exactly, you read my notes. That's right? It allows you to experience what it's like to be heard. Like the thing that we're looking for to be heard. That can happen in a lot of different ways. And one of those ways is through journaling, right? And so prayer journaling allows us, it's helpful for some people. I'm not saying you have to do this. To get our thoughts out there, right? To really think about what it is that we're feeling, what's going on inside of us, what we're asking, what our pain is, what our complaints are. But it also is a way to, you could track growth over time, man. Like, we don't have time for this, but, well, I have journals after journals after journals, and I can go back every now and then. I can see things, and in fact, I go back and see what I didn't see in the moment, right? That now I can receive. I can learn from that. Super helpful, but that's some of the things that he does. And then, what's this other thing here that it mentions? Imagining their past differently. What are we talking about? Anybody? Okay. Come on. It's recognizing that, hold on, wait a minute. When I went through this and experienced this, what did I take from this? What did I learn from this? How did I interpret what was going on? That was a long time ago. But now, standing where I'm at, with a little more maturity, maybe a little better understanding of some things, having a little bit more life experience, I can look back at situations that I went through, and I can maybe see things a little differently. It's not about pretending like what you went through didn't happen or recreating a story that is fictional. It's about, okay, this is how I saw it at that age. At this age, how do I see it? What do I take from that now, right? This is what I took from it then. Is that really what was going on? And I can go back and say, that's what I received, but now I see that's not what was necessarily going on. Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, a couple of hands.
Yeah, it's like changing the way we think.
Mm.
Changing the way we think, or changing our paradigm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For example, I know I've shared this before, but like when you struggle, just you're reflecting and meditating on the verse that says, declares to us that we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I know our struggles are intense, but I have
Yeah.
And so, but if we reorient our paradigm and reframe the events,
Mm-hmm.
it helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the practices that I have engaged in over the years with people, walking people through things. They seem to hit a wall and are just not sure how to get on the other side of that. And oftentimes it's by revisiting the past and all the situations you've gone through, which you don't realize we carry these things with us. And it's learning how to deal with those and handle those in a way that brings about healing. And a lot of times it's going back and realizing, oh, that's what I took from that? Yeah, that's not what happened at all. But you weren't able to see that then, but you're able to see that now. And then you're able to work your way through, right? We don't have time for it. Man, I got stories I can tell you about that stuff. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've participated in this, and it's been very beneficial, but sitting in here, it kind of sounds woo-woo, but I think
Not too woo-woo, just a little woo-woo.
I think that this is what happened with Joseph and his brothers.
Mm.
Right? His brothers were still living in, we sold him into slavery, we put him in the pit, and now there he is.
Yeah.
He hadn't processed that, but Joseph had. He said, yeah, but what was actually going on was God. God was
Mm-hmm.
doing something that you weren't aware of.
Yeah.
And he agrees to do that, right? And
Right.
he seems like he found
Yes.
a place of forgiveness.
Yes. 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 Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So this is where he's at, right? And he's been able to reorient, reframe the past, and that brings about some excitement. Oh man, I got that wrong. And as a result, he has this desire. He's motivated now to reach back into his past, and even to someone that he was engaged with, where there was some pain and some hurt, and he's feeling good about this, right? And he's thinking, man, I'm apologizing, and we can mend this relationship. Anybody ever feel that before? So he reaches out, tentatively, expecting a positive response. But Ethan is defensive. And the interaction stirs up more anger than Jacob anticipated. So Jacob's enthusiasm fades quickly. Ever had this happen? Anybody? Ever had this happen? You think through something and you're like, you know what, I could own up, and you get in that conversation, it does not go the way that you thought it was going to go. And they're not where you're at, and they're not ready. And you weren't ready for their response. Anybody? Maybe you were the person that someone else came to, and you weren't ready. They were, but you weren't ready to engage in the process of learning how to let this go and mending things. Anybody? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yep. And we can get, just as much as we can get lost in the emotion of the situation, the tension, we can get lost in the emotion of, this is going to be good, right? We're just thinking about healing from our perspective and not really realizing that it takes two to tangle here, right? And there's another part of the story, right? Well, there's lots of different things that can happen that can be the cause for someone's not willing to engage in the process as much as you are, right? But how often have you found yourself in these situations where you're ready and you want to address this, and you're thinking that, man, surely I've got this down, surely this is going to go well. And then as you engage in it, you're not ready for their reaction, and as a result, you say, you know what, forget it. I'm not ready for this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not dealing with this. Anybody? That's rocky soil. Okay? That's rocky soil. So, with that in mind, that's kind of where Jacob is right now, right? Some scriptures maybe to remind ourselves. Somebody read Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 and 22. Matthew 18, 21 and 22. Somebody read that for us. Go ahead, why not? So the question is, what does this tell us about forgiveness? This started with a question. What was the question? What did Peter ask? What did Jesus say? A lot. Infinity. That's the point, right? So, in other words, forgiveness is repeated, not limited, right? So, go ahead, Scott. Yeah. So, how might this principle apply to this scenario with Jacob? Seeking to mend the relationship, he's ready. Wasn't ready for the negative response, right? The friend wasn't ready, and Jacob says, forget it, I'm done with this. How might this act as a healing scripture for him and for us?
Because we have a tendency to not want to forgive when we are repeatedly, receiving offenses, which is fine from our perspective.
Mhm.
But then when we flip that, all of a sudden, it's like it's on.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I want to play, because one word I would say, I would sum up what my brother just said, like mercy.
Mhm.
I say it all the time when I'm stressed. I say all the time, I say, oh, mercy. But that's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we need. Mercy. To forgive each other,
Mhm.
even when we don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in a position where he could be the conduit of mercy, right? He's in a position where he can be the one to initiate or engage, no matter how the reaction is, right? He is in a place where he doesn't have to be, his feelings or his actions do not have to be dictated by the other, right? By the other. So, what about Psalm 51? Somebody read Psalm 51, excuse me, verses 10 through 12. I like this one. This is a good one. Psalm 51, 10 through 12. Somebody read that for us.
Create in me a pure heart, O God. Renew a resolute spirit within me. Do not reject me. Do not take your Holy Spirit away from me. Let me again experience the joy of your deliverance. Things I give you desire to obey.
Man, we could sit with this for a little while, but there's one thing I want to specifically show you. When he says, renew a resolute spirit within me, what are we talking about here? A resolute spirit. What's resolute? Anybody? Determined, steadfast, firm, stable, established. The word resolute, if you go back to the ancient Hebrew pictograph, it's interesting. I'm fascinated by this. It's a picture of a hand, a palm that is open like this, and then there's a seed. Okay? Anybody want to guess what that, when you put those two together, what that means? Just take a wild guess. Hand opened seed, hand open seed, hand open seed, open seed. When the seed opens in the soil, what happens? Roots. Takes hold of things, right? And that has to happen because a plant cannot withstand, cannot endure, is not going to be stable unless it has a firm, established, steadfast root system, a base, right? So I just love the picture, right? Renew what does he say? Spirit within me, right? Help me the roots to grow deep and to grab a hold and to be firm. What might this be an invitation to? When it comes to forgiveness. What might this be an invitation to when it comes to forgiveness? Yeah.
Just, hey, I'm rooted deep enough that I'm just
Okay.
gonna keep knocking on the door.
Okay. 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 This is how this becomes a healing scripture to me. So go ahead, Scott.
So the one thing too, talked mentioned earlier, kind of like the way of life. There's some things where you back up and you realize what God wants for us is one relationship. It's all about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If we're someone who lives in a state of forgiveness, and we say we're going to stand up for what's right, we're not walking away from relationships.
Yeah.
It's not the one. I'm not going to be the cause of the one who's trying to say, I'm going to be here. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to try to forgive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That concept.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. I love teaching, especially when you see the Lord's working in people's hearts through all of this. So, and I know I'm just putting all these things together. So Jacob initially says, "No, he doesn't deal with that, right?" However, when you understand living by faith and forgiveness becoming a way of life, right? And how this is an invitation to be rooted in this. What could happen when, in those moments, when we're like, you know what, well, forget it then. I don't want to deal with this. This is how you're going to act. I don't want to have anything to do with you. What would happen if instead we say, okay, that didn't work the way I thought it would. Let's try this again. What happens with that seed of forgiveness? Starts to grow a little bit, right? And every time we have a moment where we have the ability or the opportunity to forgive, regardless of how the person responds, we just continue to engage with that. Those roots grow just a little deeper, right? To the point where we can establish ourselves as people who live according to forgiveness. Does that make sense? I mean, God, come on. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. Remember how we started the class off? I say life is the classroom, right? The opportunities all around us to teach us, to challenge us to grow, right? So right on, like right on point. Anybody else? Go ahead. Ladies first. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. 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 What's a question we can ask when we're in those situations? What does love say and ask of me? Right? Alton, go ahead.
I was just thinking about with Jesus on the night of betrayal.
Mm.
Jesus is washing his feet. Jesus knows what's going to happen.
Oh, man.
But in my mind, because of the love, he's already decided
Yeah.
he's going to forgive. And he's already decided he's going to love. But I think, at least with myself, and some days I might wait and see what kind of attitude John brings to me before I decide if I'm going to love him or forgive him.
Yeah.
But Jesus isn't that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. So the night, just give me 1 second. The night that Jesus washes his disciples' feet, you realize like, he is literally washing the feet of his betrayers. It wasn't Judas, which is, but Peter and the rest who ran, right? Like, Come on. Like, he already decided, right? That is a demonstration or reflection of living. It's in the being becomes before doing. He had already decided who he was. His identity is already locked in, okay? And it dictated everything he did thereafter. Somebody else had their hand up. Do you have your hand up? Go ahead.
In today's world, when Charlie Kirk was killed, his wife said she forgives him. And I've been watching on TV this week, people being killed. And I have heard a lot of people say, look, he's caring, we shouldn't do that. But in one interview, they said they did not like sin.
Mm-hmm.
But they loved the sinner. He was held down.
Sure. Yeah. Could you imagine? Somebody else. Go ahead, John. Jim. Sorry. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Right. And I think that's a big point to make, right? There's still something there, okay? It doesn't mean like all is lost. That's why I said my approach to that parable, this could be our place, the condition of our heart at any given moment. It can relate to anything, okay? It's not a one and done thing, right? Don't read too much into the parable and make it say something it's not intended to say, okay? Doesn't mean that well, that's it. It's not annihilationism here, okay? It's meant to make a point, right? Okay, so that being said, why does forgiveness, look at the questions here, feel easy in theory, but hard in practice? We like the idea of forgiveness, right? Well, sometimes we do. Let's be honest. Sometimes we want to hold on to the anger and all the dopamine and rushes that we get from holding, right? So, why does forgiveness feel easy in theory but hard in practice? What does that mean? Okay. What's at play here? As being humans, what is our makeup? What do we have? What's going on here? Pride. Okay. Okay. Yeah. What else? Anger. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a bit of selfishness there, right? Hands with the pride. Anybody else? Go ahead. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that because we're probably not going to get to it. But remember that we do this in light of who we're wanting to be, who we're wanting to become. Not necessarily in who we are in that moment, because I'm struggling with forgiveness here, but I want to be like Jesus, right? I want to be like Jesus, and okay, I am going to do this in light of who I am wanting to become, because this is going to help me become that, okay, towards that. So all the things, right, being human, that sums it up, right? As humans, right, we have minds, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have memories. That's why we talked about all those things at the very beginning about our makeup as humans. What does it mean to be human and to experience the human experience? That's redundant. Anyways, you get what I'm trying to say here, right? What's at play here? Our minds and our hearts and how we live those things out through our bodies. And you can't escape the emotions and the feelings and the pictures and the memories and the beliefs that we have in our mind, the consequences even of getting to a place where, you know what, I'm going to forgive. Are there consequences to that? Yes, consequences to my pride, consequences to me being able to hold on to them. Oh, so I have to let these things go now. Oh, and I can't keep bringing them up and holding them over their head. I can't hold people hostage based on those past experiences now, right? But those memories still come, right? So are you tracking with me? Following, tracking, however you want to say it, right? Like, you get the point here, right? So it feels easy in theory, but when it comes down to it, right, it could feel hard because it risks vulnerability and loss and discomfort, okay? But here's the thing, and you guys have said it so eloquently. The heart resists just as much as the mind can accept. Maybe say that the other way. The mind can accept a lot of things, and the heart can resist a lot of things. Okay? You tracking with me? You feel that? Okay? What do we mean by that? We can get there intellectually a whole lot faster than we oftentimes get there emotionally. But usually what's in control? What's driving the ship? The emotions. Whether we want to acknowledge that or not, right? That is the reality, right? Understanding oftentimes comes before, I would say all the time, comes before surrender. Understanding comes before surrender. What does that mean? Yeah. And you can't surrender something when you're not realizing or thinking about who you're wanting to become, right? Even who you are right now, right? We come to an understanding of a lot of things before we get to the place where that becomes a reality or a lived experience in our life. Does that make sense? Is that too much for 9:38 in the morning? Right? That is a reality, right? Agreement, okay, is not the same as trust. How's that sit? Agreement is not the same as trust. So, in light of Jacob's scenario, any scenario that we might find ourselves in where forgiveness, there's something we need to do, and we know it's the right thing to do, it's the helpful thing to do. I mean, it is right in line with the heart of God. But if I do this, what is that going to mean? Remember the things we wrestle with, right? I'm going to have to let go of this. I can't hold this over them. All those things. Or what does this say about me? And sometimes we don't like what it says. There are reasons why we want to hold on to that pain, the anger, the resentment, the hurt. But agreement is not the same as trust, is it? I can walk into that pressure, into that tension with trust in the Lord that, listen, I know I don't understand why this is the best. I don't understand how this is going to work out. I don't get it, but you know what? You say this is the best course of action, then I'm going to turn the cheek, and I'm going to walk right into that. And I'm going to experience it. And I'm going to learn what it's like to sit in that tension, right? Insight is not the same thing as transformation, is it? So go back to the question, right? Why does forgiveness feel easy in theory but hard in practice? Well, because insight. Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's a whole lot harder to do, right? It's a whole lot harder to do. And transformation takes what? You got to walk it out. You got to walk in it. You got to sit in it. You got to be in it. Sometimes you need a break from it. You're going to walk right back in it, right? And it takes trust, does it not? Does it not? Go ahead.
In terms of forgiving others, how wrong maybe this is already been said in here, but I think what I need to do first is forgive myself for not being the person I'm called to be, and then I'm better able to forgive others. Like a brother, whoever is wrong.
Certainly. Yeah.
One technique that I've used to help my emotions catch up to the
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll draw a line through it. The line through it says, this is forgiven. It is not blotted out. So
Yeah.
if it comes up again, I go through my list and I say, no, that is forgiven. I have taken care of that. I can't bring that up again.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions, work with me. Let's get this done.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So why does forgiveness, that's perfect. Why does forgiveness feel easy in theory but hard in practice, right? The heart is guarded. The heart is guarded. The mind may accept what the heart is not prepared to trust yet. We get there much quicker here than we do here. Right? Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Jim. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Always. Right. At least knee-jerk. All right. So how does Jacob's emotional response highlight the difference between feeling forgiveness and choosing it? This is important. The difference in feeling forgiveness and choosing forgiveness. Feelings are reactive, aren't they? Yeah. Choosing forgiveness is intentional. It's intentional, right? And we sometimes have to draw a line between what happens to us emotionally and what we decide to do relationally. Okay? Relationally. So feelings are reactive, right? We don't choose how we feel at first, right? It just happens. We just feel it, right? They just show up. Going back to something, we're shaped by wounds. We're shaped by our past, right? We're shaped by our temperament, by our memories, by our nervous system responses, right? True forgiveness, though, often precedes feeling, say, lighter from forgiveness, right? Right? True forgiveness oftentimes precedes that. You don't feel lighter, right? And then, oh, now that I feel lighter, I'll forgive you. It's like, no. You first begin to forgive, and the feelings follow that oftentimes, okay? That's important to note. It's a deliberate act of the will, okay? And I think, we got 1 minute here. I think one thing to note about this, and there are practices, there are other things that we never have time to get through all of this, but one thing to remember, I think, when it comes to forgiveness, and John mentioned it here, forgiveness is not forgetting necessarily. Like, just because you forgive someone doesn't mean that goes out the window. Like, we have a mind. You have a memory for a reason. We're wired the way we are wired for a reason, right? Some of it is protective, but it's there for a reason. Problem is when we become controlled by that, okay? It doesn't mean that it eliminates that. We learn from that, and it's there for a reason, okay? But forgiveness is about what we do with that. What we do with that. And when it comes back up and we have those feelings where we, right, what do we do with that? What do we do with that, right? Forgiveness is a process, I tell people. It's a process. I talk to people who struggle with, like, I just can't forgive. It's like, you're on a journey. You want to. That's where it starts, right? You want to. You see the need to do it. You've got to engage the process. I do believe it is a process, but it's an intentional process. You're going to say, I may not feel like it, but I'm going to do it because in light of, what I'm doing here is in light of who I'm wanting to become, who I'm wanting to be. Does that make sense? There's a whole lot more we could say about this, and I wish we had time. One last. Man, you're talkative today. I love it. Just a thought. Yeah. Right? That's true. That's true, right? That oftentimes, that is said with the intent, I want you to know, right? A good verse, I think, to remember here, and something that we could do, scripture meditation on mercy, Psalm 145, verse 8. The Lord is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in love. Remember, it's about who we are becoming, and this verse is about who? The Lord. And that's who we want to be like. right? All right, Chuck, final comment.
But one other thought about that is that if we're gonna be judged on how we handle this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I can't forgive you, or if I forgive you and don't forget it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be judged the same way, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So not only who we want to become, but how we want to ultimately be judged.
Sure, sure. Okay. All right.